Hey everyone, it's Nick. I'm taking a break from my usual content to discuss some absolute malarkey that went down last night. So for context, the Swedish bands Amon Amarth and Ghost have been performing in the United States this summer, and they decided to play in almost entirely outdoor venues. The closest tour stop to me was the CCNB Amphitheater in Simpsonville, South Carolina. So the tour dates were announced in February. I bought my tickets in May. I took my PTO in July. I was ready to go. Now, obviously, when you have outdoor events, you are susceptible to the weather. So when the 10-day forecast came out for Simpsonville, South Carolina, I watched it religiously. And I just kept seeing that there was going to be a chance of thunderstorms on the day and time of the concert. Two things, though. Firstly, both Ticketmaster and the venue's website touted this event as rain or shine, which implies to me that if there was going to be, at the very least, rain, they'd be prepared for it, and they weren't going to do anything to the show in response. The other thing is that, obviously, watching the weather, I came prepared. I packed boots, I ordered some ponchos for me and my sister. They were black because, hell Satan. We had a plan. We brought an awning, we brought some casings for our phones and other devices. We were ready. We were fully expecting to rock out in a frickin' monsoon. We get to the venue, we find our spots on the lawn, and the weather is mostly sunny, but there is an ominous cloud bank roiling in the south that just keeps getting closer. Obviously, we were prepared. We did not care if it started raining. We were ready to rock. As Amon Amarth started, pretty much as their first song started going out, the rain started to fall. And by the end of that first song, it was just pouring. Now, if you live in the Southeast, you know exactly how rain happens down here. There's nothing for 2 weeks, and then when it does rain, it's like dumping an entire ocean on you for 30 minutes, and then it stops. And you could tell the weather is actually taking an effect on the stage because their entire backdrop actually detached from the truss and fell to the ground. And the two inflatable Viking statues that they had were starting to sway and kind of torque in the middle because I guess the water was weighing them down and the wind was just too strong. Of course, we didn't care. It looked really cool that the statues were moving, like they were Norse gods trying to break from their stony shells or something like that. However, after the third song, Viking guy number 3 comes out and says, and I'm quoting him here, "There is too much water, we have to stop." Too much water in a rain or shine event. Obviously, most of us were disappointed, but I think most of the crowd came out to see Ghost, so, and I think a lot of the Amon Amarth fans also didn't care about, they were willing to stick around and see Ghost, so not a severe disappointment. I mean, disappointment for some, I'm sure, but the show would have gone on and people would have stayed regardless. Amon Amarth clears out. The rest of us are just standing in the rain like idiots for 15 minutes, and then that's when the lightning strikes. The lightning strikes, a venue representative comes to the microphone and says, "Emergency evacuation, get out, we will let you know in 30 minutes. Totally expected, totally understandable. Lightning, there is no excusing lightning, so we had to get out. I totally prepared for this. I totally expected to have to sit out for however long. The whole venue floods out of the gates. We move to our cars, and we sit there and wait. So we're in our cars, the rain is kind of letting up, the lightning is lingering in the distance, kind of close, but not directly over us. Venue staff told us that their tolerance for lightning was 3 miles, which I consider very, very liberal. So I was hoping that they would eventually just call us back in because the lightning was 3.1 miles away. At around 8:15, I think, the venue lets us know that they are keeping an eye on the weather and that they will continue updating us. By around 9, the rain has stopped entirely. There hasn't been a single lightning strike in about 20-25 minutes. and we are hearing nothing from the venue. At this point, people are walking out of their cars to just walk back to the front gates. But there's something else. Underneath that post about them keeping an eye on the weather, we start seeing comments from people saying that both police officers and venue staff were telling them to leave because the event had been canceled. And we're watching this from our car, wondering what to think. Because, sure, I guess venue staff is telling people to go, but we haven't received an official update from any of their websites or social media about the status of the event. So we decided to just stick it out and wait for official word. 9 o'clock rolls around. It's clear the weather has pretty much gone away. And the radar is just like pristine. No signs of green, orange, or red anywhere. So we get out of our car, we start walking to the front gates, and there had to have been well over 10,000 people at the front gates. Just a absolute ocean of bodies just spreading out, like fluctuating, making tentacles into the parking lot behind them, just crowded at the front gate with no word, no updates, nothing going on. And we join them. You know, we're still having a good time. We're still hoping that Ghost can come and play. And at around, I want to say like 10 o'clock or so, the amphitheater gives us another update. And it said this: "We are attempting to put the show back up. Please stand by for timing updates as to when doors might open back up." Now, this is not a good message. Sure, it's hopeful, it's optimistic, but it's not a good message. The words attempting, might, it's all indefinite. People wanted a yes or no answer. Is the venue canceling or not? And to make matters worse, those people who left in their cars when security told them the event was canceled initially, then tried to actually get back to the venue, but were actively stopped and turned away by police. Clearly, there was some mismanagement of communication going on, because all we get is this one dubious update from the venue, and then anecdotal evidence from Facebook comments from people who are claiming that the event is canceled and are getting actively turned away. And from where me and my friends are at, we are actually able to see the stage. We just had to like step on a curb and like kind of look over the gate. And the stage looks like this. None of the actual tour's lighting equipment is on. There's like a few stage hands milling around. The truss, as you can see, has kind of been partially broken down and lowered, and it was like that for pretty much the whole time we were standing by the front gate. It didn't make sense because the venue said we were trying to put the show back together, but there was just nothing going on. It's around 11 o'clock, the crowd is getting rowdy, people are shouting, people are chanting, people are playing Ghost music on banjos just to try and keep the crowd entertained. The outhouses were muddy and people wouldn't go in them because they thought the mud was poop. I had to be the one to go in and prove that the mud wasn't poop. Don't ask me how I did that. Just a complete mess. No communication from the venue. None of the security or staff we were trying to talk to from beyond the gate were telling us anything. And apparently more police were called in because, and this is all anecdotal, but more police were called in because they feared that the crowd would eventually start rioting. I did not see any violence or rioting or just rowdiness in general. People were generally very polite, just standing there, kind of waiting. Sure, a few chants came up, but they didn't escalate beyond chants. Eventually, around 11:15, that's when I basically ran out of patience, and I said, okay, my irritation for this venue has overcome my desire to see Ghost. So me and my friends decided to pack it up and go away. And as we are walking back, we finally get one more update from the venue, and it says this: "A sincere apology to the fans of the Ghost concert scheduled for CCNB Amphitheater, Simpsonville tonight, 8/29. Due to the severe weather conditions and equipment being destroyed, it is being rescheduled to Thursday, 8/31, where the full show will take place. Tickets purchased for tonight, 8/29, will be honored on the new date. There is nothing further ticket holders need to do. Now, there is a lot to unpack here. Firstly, why do they wait until well past 11 o'clock at night to actually say this? Presumably because it took them that long to figure out that the equipment wasn't working, but why didn't they figure that out immediately, or like test it out enough the first time when, you know, the freaking amphitheater was empty? I don't know. Secondly, and this is where the bands might be at fault as opposed to the venue. If the equipment got destroyed by wind or water, definitely it wasn't lightning because no lightning actually struck the venue. Someone did not prepare properly. Either the venue did not properly waterproof the stage, or the bands did not properly waterproof their equipment. You see, yeah, because when you tout something as rain or shine, you expect, you know, the rain part of the phrase rain or shine to be applicable, right? And I know that their show got rained on in Syracuse, New York, but nothing happened there, so what happened here is anyone's guess. Now, as to whose fault it is for not making sure everything was waterproofed, I can't say right now. What I can say, however, is that the direction of this event was pretty much entirely the venue's fault. They had horrible communication. Clearly, the staff knew something, were telling people to leave, but the actual social media pages / websites were saying another thing entirely. Remember, staff were telling people to leave as early as around 8:15, 8:30, when they made that post saying they were trying to get the event back up and running well past 10 o'clock. So what's happening now? Well, they've rescheduled the event to Thursday night. It's Wednesday now. I cannot make that. Along with presumably hundreds, maybe even thousands of others. Because from what I gathered, this particular concert stop in Simpsonville attracted people from all around the Southeast, from Georgia to North Carolina to Tennessee. Some people claim they drove 700 miles to see this, which I think is excessive, but still. So the fact of the matter is, a lot of people who attended Tuesday night just are not going to be able to make Thursday. That is way too short a notice in the middle of a work week. They are not able to take time off effectively. And just disappointment all around. The whole thing was a dismal, disappointing failure. And I won't go into detail now, but I should mention that after the event, through a series of very unfortuitous circumstances and misadventures, we got stranded in buttfuck South Carolina and did not get back home in Georgia until 4:30 in the morning. So this was just a very disappointing, crazy night. A lot of goofiness happened, a lot of pranks. But something good did come out of it. I did manage to get this homemade crucifix keychain by chatting with Redditor Dan's Jungle. So Daniel, thank you very much. You are a real one. But of course, the real homemade crucifix keychain was the friends we made along the way. Take care, everyone. See you all next time.